we need to understand that our decision today, the present, means the future.
So the big challenge for us as individuals, as consumers, is that with climate change, it takes not one of us, it takes all.
Vale. Good morning. So I guess we are the first company to present here, so it is a great challenge and a great opportunity for me to present and introduce HeyTrade. HeyTrade is a company, and I am Luis Maldonado, the co-founder. HeyTrade is a fintech company which is an investment trading platform that allows for buying and selling stocks and ETFs online. So let me just see whether we can upload the presentation. Can we upload the presentation, please? Okay. Okay, sorry. HeyTrade is a fintech company on a mission to trade money that will change your investment analysis. In the span of time that I will be presenting HeyTrade, I will be trading live an Apple stock, so that you see how simple that can be. HeyTrade is a next-generation investment platform allowing free purchase of stocks and ETFs and the lowest cost possible in Europe. It has an open banking integration with a seamless operation from your main trading banking account. With that, I already purchased the Apple stock, so let me introduce you Ramiro Martinez Pardo, co-founder and CEO of HeyTrade, who will tell you how we brought us here, what we achieved in a record year, and what is our ambition for the future. So thank you very much, Ramiro.
So we started HeyTrade because current solutions are still not good enough. There is a gap between the US and Europe of 7 trillion assets held as deposits and cash in bank accounts, yielding basically zero or negative interest rates. So why are people not investing with their traditional banks? Well, it's a subpar, not friendly experience and very high cost. But wait, what about all these neo-brokers? Well, they're actually not tackling the problem, and they are not suitable for the average saver. They have hidden costs in terms of spreads and FX fees. They have also complex products such as CFDs, and they are not suitable really for the average saver that prefers a more traditional approach to investing. So that's why we created HeyTrade. We will not only bring the best trading experience, but we will also use open banking to eliminate the barriers to become the primary brokerage account of our customers. Breaking up is difficult, and breaking up with your bank is even more difficult. Well, thanks to open banking, we will allow seamless transfer of the securities you have in another broker or at your bank to HeyTrade. And we have a vision beyond that. We have a vision to reinvent other financial products, such as lending. Having the portfolio of our customers will allow us to offer the best rates in the market for our customers. So in a year since we started the project, we have already onboarded the first customers in 12 months. Well, typically, other brokers take between 3 and 4 years. This is thanks to an extremely experienced team that has previous success stories in the fintech space. Our CTO and our tech team used to run one of the pioneers of open banking in Spain that was acquired by one of the global players. Not only that, we have also secured over 15 partnerships with top institutions that have allowed us to have a very efficient and scalable partnership ecosystem and model. We have also secured 2 million of funding that have allowed us to create the first version of HeyTrade. And I'm extremely happy and proud to share that this week, on Thursday, we will be opening up for all users in Spain. we will be offering the best trading platform with the lowest cost in this initial version. And that's only the beginning. Over the next months, we are launching as well in other European countries, and we have already started work to launch in LATAM. We started actually from the beginning already looking at the regulatory hurdles and the operating models that we need to be successful there. Our ambition is that in 2 years to have over 1 million users and 6 billion assets under management within HeyTrade. So we welcome you all to sign up to our waitlist. On Thursday the 7th, so this Thursday, we will be opening up to all users, and we hope that you will support us either as an investors in the company or investors through HeyTrade to achieve our mission. Thank you very much.
Morning, everyone. I'm Luz Costa, FIBUS manager of FA Group. FIBUS is the accelerator program that we have in our consulting firm. Here we are specialized in getting tax incentives, our grants for all the public incentives that we can get. And our consultants are in constantly a close relationship with R&D directors, IT directors, operation managers of our customers. That means that our startups get access to this market that we have. Also, we can have a roadmap for their incentives or just have some training session for them surrounded to these startups points. So the main added value that we have is to get and open this market to our startups. We also have a vehicle to invest to some startups that are interesting for us. And here we have an example with Rental. Marta will come, and then we go on with the next startups of our program. So thank you. Morning.
Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you, Luis, for your introduction. My name is Marta Perez, and I am co-founder and CEO of Rental & Partners. Rental & Partners is a digital platform of renting of different products. As a popular person said, I'm rich because I can rent everything. This person is Homer Simpson, and as you know, Homer Simpson predicts the future, right? Well, I will present rental. Our value proposition is based on next key elements with a main target: boost the circular economy. These key elements are a unique team, an innovative product, an external opportunity market, a scalable and international platform, ecosystem, and a smart platform and data. Let's go some details. On Unique Experience team, we are a multicultural experience team from former top director of big companies as Groupe PCA and Accenture. We have experience in 2 sectors, banking, renting, and high technology. Innovative product. We are talking about renting, but it's the same subscription pay-per-use. We propose a flexible, all-inclusive renting program for B2C and B2B customers who will enjoy a full digital experience. Customers will renew continuously their product from the latest technology. And what product? We have our renting a full range of products, from smartphone, laptops, anti batteries, bikes, all the products. We have a strong market opportunity. We answer to the new trends of the market, the pay-per-use. The time of buying is over. Renting a subscription is the future. Our business model is fully scalable and international. After launching this activity in this year, our ambition is to launch in other countries. Our ecosystem is composed by strong partners in order to propose a very competitive offer and ensure the best customer experience. Our platform is one of the best in Europe, built with the latest technology. This platform is based in artificial intelligence. Eco-renting is the main slogan of rental. We protect the environment by boosting the circular economy, giving a second or third life to the older products. Well, no. Well, the moment is now. Sorry. Rental and partners will lead the future. Thank you very much for your attention. If you have any question or do you need more information, we are available for you. Thank you.
Okay, good morning, everyone. So, my name is Ivan Fernandez. I'm the manager of Nanostein. But first of all, I would like just to spend 5 seconds just to thank FI Group just for this hosting this event and giving us the opportunity to present Nanostein. So, Nanostein is a spin-off company from CSIC. CSIC is the National Research Council, but also part of the company. We have 2 companies. One is Nano4Energy. The second one is the FI Group. So Nanostein comes from pristine nanoparticles. So we are using nanotechnology. We are creating particles in the nanometer size. So we are talking about metallic, oxide, or nitride particles. And then we're talking about pristine. Pristine means a material which is maintained in the original phase. So that's the idea of the company. We are making nanoparticles which are very pure, which are not made by chemical method, and we are using these nanoparticles for different applications. You should come back. So what we do in the company is we design, we manufacture, and at the end we sell nanoparticles for very specific applications. We can make metallic nanoparticles, coarse shell nanoparticles, we can make alloy nanoparticles for many different applications. And we'll give you the example of 3 applications when we are using these technologies. It's quite unique technology because we're using a physical method. We're using ultra-high vacuum, which is very different than the standard chemical methods. For example, we are in a project with the European Space Agency, or using films, a stack of these nanoparticles, or few micron things, to prevent the damage of Earth devices on the space. So this is very important for the aerospace industry, because we are able to prevent this damage. There is an effect called multifactor effect, and we prevent these electrons to escape and destroy devices. So we create thick film, which is very, very porous. We have a very high surface to volume ratio. We can make it on wafers, we can make it on devices, and we can apply that, as I said before, for aerospace, but we can also apply for the energy sectors. For example, batteries. The key for a battery is having a high surface to volume electrodes. So we are able to make these electrodes, make a coating with these nanoparticles to increase the lifetime. We make stable contacts, and this is one of the keys. And why not hydrogen? Green hydrogen is one of the keys technology now in Spain. So this matrix of nanoparticles are very useful, for example, to help the electrolyzers to convert water to hydrogen. So this is what we can do. We create the nanoparticles, we can deposit on surfaces, on different devices, but we can also deliver the nanoparticles on solvent, in water, in alcohol, for example, for biomedical applications. So this is the type of technology we are using. It's a technology which is licensed from the National Research Council, and we have the capability to fine-tune these type of nanoparticles for the different applications we have in the market. And thank you so much.
Hi everybody, my name is David Lopez, CEO at Intelia, a SaaS B2B company focused on increasing sales and revenues by omnichannel data. Intelia started at 2013 as IT consulting company, working with big brands and international environments. During these years, we found some problems in the markets. There is no omnichannel data, no customer journey, no data analytics, no effective acquisition. So it is a problem for all the companies. So with this experience, we launched to the market a CDP, a digital product. We see CRM technology can resolve this problem. So we can do this with the following market approach. One, high scalability. Our system is plug and play. We are integrated with the main players like Facebook, Shopify, PrestaShop. Two, easy adoption, a very fast onboarding. And three, the pricing. Our price is based on success of our clients in terms of sales generated by our system. So, why to invest now? Okay, market. An estimated marketplace in 2025 of more than $10 billion. Also, at the end of 2022, Google will stop using third-party cookies, sorry. So it will be necessary for any company could make a marketing strategies as CDP. Second, clients. We launched this platform a year ago, and now we have more than 50 clients in Spain. Also, we have just gained our first international project. And third, acceleration. We are supported by many entities in Spain, as well as Fibus and Lanzadera. So it wouldn't be possible without a great team led by José María Ruiz, our CMO, with solid experience leading marketing departments in big brands like Hawker or Norwich. Our CTO, Pedro Enrique Vidal, with more than 15 years of experience working with a huge technology stack. And me, David Lopez, CEO, serial entrepreneur with solid experience on IT projects. Finally, our go-to-market strategy is based on integration with technological partners whose commercial channels we are able to use. Thank you very much, and you can find us in Fire Group stand number 105. Thank you.
Hello, good morning. This is Fernando Mateus. Maybe you see Lucia Piña down in the name. As you can see, it's ultimate minute change. We will talk about cybersecurity, specifically for employees. I don't know if you are aware that more than 90% of all security incidents involve internal staff. That means that the cyber attackers are targeting our people, our employees. So we are not prepared for that, and we need to work on it. We at Kimatio prepares individuals and organizations against the threats. And as we say, we activate human firewalls. And change the slide, please. Oh. Yeah. Well, data about the problem. Just one cybersecurity incident in large enterprises, as an average, cost $4 million. This is an average because in financial services it goes up to 8 million, and in pharma it's 7 million. So as an average, 4 million. For small and medium companies, the problem is the same with different figures. They spend as an average around 4,000 keys per incident. These stats are increasing in a 50% ratio every 12 months. So we need to work on that. And Kimatio is using psychometric tools and artificial intelligence platform based on neuropsychology to work on different services that work together to prepare the organizations and to manage the human element cyber risk. We do it by understanding the risk level of each employee and defining and knowing the level of alert that they have in different topics of cybersecurity. With this information, we launch automated security training programs in order to raise the awareness and the knowledge of each employee. And we do it with chatbot sessions, so it is interactive and it's very easy for the employees. Finally, we put the employees in the center of the solution so they can see how they evolve during time and how are their level of awareness. Of course, we train them using phishing simulations because they will receive attacks in their mailbox, and they must be prepared for that. So we do spear phishing, as you can see in this slide. We are targeting 42 people in one department. 31 are opening the email, making 15 from them making click on the link, and 7 of them are giving their passwords and their credentials to the bad guys. At last, another service that we are launching for our customers is we search the internet and online repositories to see if there is credentials, accounts of the organization exposed in the security breaches. So with all that information, we have the most advanced human cyber risk dashboard that gives you the opportunity to be prepared against this big threat. As we talk. We only spend 3 hours per year and per employee, with 5 minutes per month, and we are working on a customized awareness itinerary for each single person. So it's not like a general e-learning approach. So we can demonstrate and increase the level of alert of each employee in the organization. Next slide, please. As a reflection of the problem, we have different customers in size and in sectors, because the problem is transversal. Everyone has to face this in their mailbox. So if you want to know more and how to work on cybersecurity with your employees and be prepared for this kind of attacks, please, we will have you in the booth, and go to kimatio.com. Thank you very much.
Sí, gracias. Yeah. Well, yes. So, hello everybody. Let me see if this works. Doesn't? Okay. Yes? Do we have the presentation? ¿Estamos? ¿Sí? ¿No? Guys? Yes?
Cuando me digáis. So guys, before this starts, I'm totally out of time. This is not a pitch. This is just a talk about education and disruption based on my on basically my career on this field. And while they start with the presentation, just let me introduce myself. My name is Nacho de Pinedo. Nacho like the nacho chips. That's easy to remember. I come from the corporate world, but I started my own startup 12 years ago with some friends in the internet world, and the startup name is ISDI. Okay, ISDI is it's an institution, and I'm going to try to explain you how I came into the educational field and how, through my experiences, I think I disrupted a bit that world, which is a very difficult world to disrupt. Okay? Yes. Okay. So I will take advantage of this time and to talk as well about Impact, which is our accelerator. We have an accelerator which is one of the largest accelerators in Spain, and we work for the European Union. And we move a lot of startups. In fact, more than 10,000 startups have approached our project so far, and we have distributed more than 50 million euros. So, guys, is this working? Pues qué. Pues para el contador. Que el rey se espere. Yo soy como Paco Umbral, he venido aquí a hablar de mi libro. Bueno, no, que empezaré cuando... Okay. Now it seems it works, but I cannot move the slides, guys. Okay. So that's what I was trying to explain. This is me, Nacho de Pinedo, and I'm founder of ISDI, and I'm as well business angel, and I invest in several startups. So this is not working again, guys. No funciona esto. Ahora. Funciona cuando quiere. Okay. So this is the ecosystem that we have created with ISDI. ISDI is much more than just a business school. It's an ecosystem that includes a foundation, includes an in-company operation, and includes as well a top accelerator. And very importantly, we are leaders in EdTech. We are the first ever business school to launch diplomas in blockchain and to do a test of artificial intelligence within the class with our students. Okay, so I think we have somehow disrupted the educational world. Esto no funciona nada bien. I'm trying. Okay, now doesn't work. ¿A dónde hay que empujar? No, lo está moviendo él. So let's see if they can solve these problems. No. So now is acquiring some other business schools. So we are part of a larger group that is called DigiTalent. Again, guys, I need some help because this is not working at all. Okay. And the president of our group is Javier Rodríguez Zapatero, who was the former country manager of Google. So how this started? Well, this started when we perceived that we were not living in an era of change, that we were living in a change of an era. We were moving from one era, which was the digital world, sorry, the world of the electricity, to the digital world. Oh, esto es horrible. Okay. So digital was the latest tech revolution, and it was as important as the fire. Every time there is a new technology, it changes, it shapes the way the humans behave, and it changes the productive models and the knowledge models. So the point here was that the education that we had could not work in this new world. Guys, this is, sorry, but this is not working. So everything is all these changes are changing the employability patterns that we had in the past. Okay, there is a work quake in this world. So what's happening with education? Okay, is education evolving at the same pace as the rest of the world? Okay, so can you tell me the difference between these two slides? What's the difference? COVID, okay, and 100 years, okay? But basically, apart from that, nothing has changed. Okay, this is basically the way we still train the people. This guy, who was a very intelligent guy, Sir Ken Robinson, said that, okay, we may be much richer in intelligence if the formal academic education would follow the pace of what's happening around. And that's basically the opposite. Okay, so what can we do in that field? What we can do to change this? Can you pass the slide, please? Guys, this is not very digital. Okay, so talking about education and disruption, this may sound like an oxymoron, okay? But is it an oxymoron? So what we now are is in a different environment where business is not usual, business is totally unusual, and we need to change the way we educate. And this is not so much about upskilling. Upskilling is doing what we know but better. It's much more about reskilling, to train new capabilities, new skills. And it's about pre-skilling, about training the people to accept that change is going to come, and that they have to accept that change, and they have to find new ways of working in that new environment. So the key here is to introduce new methodologies and redesign education. And for that, what we are doing at ISDE is to introduce the methodologies that we are using for the startups. So it's basically design thinking, lean startup, and agile. And we're introducing this to change not only the contents, but as well a lot of other areas. To change, sorry guys, this is a torture. Échame uno para atrás. Ahí. Okay. So this is about questioning everything and using these methodologies to question the way we manage the teachers, the way we do the contents, the way we introduce external data, the way we have the formats, the way we use peers to deliver education, the way we use methodologies and technologies. Okay, and how do we update the content? Well, if you are in a business as we teach digital business, the only way to cope with reality is to introduce experts, not so much academics, not so many academics, but experts into the classes. So they are the teachers. And to work with companies, as we are doing in company training, to learn what they need and to work in alliance with tech companies to understand which is the new technology that is coming next. And to work with the startups, as we are doing in our accelerator, to understand what are the needs and what's the new innovation that the startups are bringing into the field. When... Esto se ha muerto. Ahora. So, as you can see, ¿funciona? Nada. Espero que el rey no venga a presentar aquí. Okay. Can I have some? Okay. So one of the most interesting things that I saw when I was in Harvard was something called the pond ecosystem, which is a methodology devised by a guy called Chris Dede. This guy modelized a pond that was near Harvard, okay, and introduced all the data during a historical series of 20 years. And he did a digital model of that, so the students could enter into that and find all the data of that specific pond. And with that data, they could extract conclusions and could make classes much more live. ¿Podemos avanzar un poco? Okay. So the idea of changing the weight from the students to the, from the teacher to the student was already at that time. Okay, the idea is not the teacher the one who has to deliver, is the student the one who has to grasp the education. Okay, so that was something that we started to introduce in our programs. Okay, that the student was the center, but he or she were the ones who had to make the effort to get the information. Another interesting thing that happened was that Stanford launched a 2025 vision of education, okay? And this is very much about the formats of education. So the idea of Stanford is that there are new ways of delivering educational formats. One is called open loop university. So the idea is, in the past, or now, we have 4 years university or 3 years university, then maybe a master, and that's it. Okay, very rigid. Now, the idea is that you start something, then you go to work, and then come back whenever you need it, and do another cycle, and then another one, and another one. And this shouldn't be as rigid as we have now the degrees or the masters, okay? But the idea is that you will have your degree or your accreditation in a longer time of time, a longer period of time. Then you can break as well the 4 years courses, and you can break them in something different. So the idea is that as you learn, then you choose different modules or different fields that you are interested in and that you have found during your career. And of course, it's the axis flip, which is basically changing the weight of the class from the professor delivering something to the students working together and asking within the class or presenting what they have worked previously. Okay? And finally, sorry guys, this is a nightmare. And finally, there is something called purpose learning, which is basically that you shouldn't choose a degree or a specific career. You should choose a mission. What do you want to get? Okay? And following that mission, you pick whatever you need to follow your vital mission. Okay? So all these things inspired us very much in creating what we created, as well as the launch of the MOOCs. You know that around 8 years ago, there was a race of MOOCs, and this changed everything because the MOOCs started to deliver education in a different format. Okay, Then came technology, and technology helped us as well to do other things. For instance, we started doing diplomas and micro batches in blockchain around 6 years ago. So we can deliver this kind of digital certification that is traceable and that is unchangeable for the students. Okay, and facial recognition. Why should we go and sign that we are here in a class? We can use this technology, so it can show who is within the class. But more importantly, if we group the information that we are getting from facial recognition within a class, we can understand in real time the mood of the class. And we can know if they are laughing, we know if they are bored, or we know that if they are just living. Okay? So we started this process before the COVID. Now we are not using that because with the mask it's impossible, but we think that it will get back again. Okay? So, can we see the video, guys? So this is a video that shows you basically how all these things work together. Can we have volume? Sound? So basically this is a student that is entering because she found something and she's interested in our program. So the student enters and we're using a CRM that is taking the information from that student. She's a prospect, she's interested. That information is coming to our school, so we know how interested she is, okay, using our data. Then she enrolls in a program, she uses obviously her finger to enter into the class, and while she has to enter, we geolocalize her and tell her where to go to attend the class, okay, because we have beacons within the building. Okay? Once she's in the class, we can monitor her and understand what she's feeling in the class. And right after she's leaving, she will receive a message to express how she felt around that specific class. Okay? But for the professors, this is key as well, because we can brief them and manage their agenda through this technology as well. And we can help them with the content that they already have or they are going to deliver. Okay? And we can build roadmaps for each of the programs that we have. When the students are presenting or delivering break, we record everything in our cloud and we have all the information. So at the end of the day, we can send that person a blockchain diploma, okay? And that diploma can be linked into her LinkedIn or whatever. With this, she enters into a community cloud or community cloud, and she receives as well job posts, and she can find a job there or wherever. So the idea is that with technology, and specifically this technology uses based on Salesforce, we can make everything easier. Okay. So just to end. Let me just show you what the new learning experience is. This is not about teaching, it's about learning. It's about a liquid content that evolves. It's about technology being an enabler for change. It's about not transmission of knowledge, it's about discovery from the students. It's not about giving every rule and every guidance. They need to achieve the opportunities. And this is not for memorizing, this is for experiencing. And there is no try and learn route, it's just iteration. And of course, it's about effort, and it's about intensity, and there is not a defined path for everyone. You have to choose your own path, okay? So this is the education, this is the disruption in education, and thank you very much, and welcome to the change of an era, if it works. Last slide, please. Okay. So we are not in an era of changes, but in a change of an era. So thank you very much, and sorry for all the technical problems, guys. Bye.
Morning, everyone. This is Emma from UC3M Science Park Business Incubator. Strong feelings, we are back. Strong feelings being here for all of us, I guess, for obvious reasons. And maybe for the UC3M team, even stronger feelings, since it is 20 years since we very first started helping and working with entrepreneurs. Nowadays, we are, after these 20 years, we are working with 57 startups and scale-ups. They have in common that they all are technology-based, innovative firms, and very much social impact committed. Out of those 57, working with us in different incubation and acceleration programs we are running, 12 of them, out of those 57, 12 are here at this new edition of the South Summit. We really congratulate to say that 3 are amongst the 100 finalists of the South Summit International Competition. You will have the chance to listen their pitches. And in this session, 3 of our founders will be presenting their initiatives. The rest, 9 firms, will be using our stand. Please jot down, it is the 114, quite close to the emergency number. Some others have their own stand. So please, we do encourage you to pass by and have the chance to meet them. At the UC3M stand 114, we will be sharing the schedule just for them to have the visibility. Those ones that don't have their own stand. Regarding the 3 firms we're gonna meet right now in these sessions, just to say that they are, as I mentioned, technology-based, innovative firms. They have this strong commitment with social impact, and they have a great potential. We have 3 founders that they are going to present their firms, but Rafael Olmedo for Gecko Knapsack, Fernando Fernandez Rebollo in Robix, and Gustavo is going to present a SpaceSur. For this very first pitch, Blind Explorer powered by Gecko Knapsack, it's going to be myself delivering not the pitch. I won't be able that much, but talking you about the firm and the solution they've created. Because Rafa is double booked this morning, as most of us are. He's now in a meeting and he won't be able to present. Just very briefly, I will introduce his firm. Rafa was the very first firm we had our ISABIC incubation program. We are part of the ISABIC Comunidad de Madrid region. That's the incubation program from the European Space Agency. Rafa was one of the very first firms within this incubation program. We have 17, and we are going to present Blind Explorer. He's also part, let me check. I will address you to meet him during these days. He's here in La Nave. or you can reach us. He's a very interesting case, a successful case use of technology, space technology applied to different sectors and is transferred to social purposes for blind people. He's developed his solution with Fundación 11, and I do encourage you all to meet him. The second firm is Inrobix. Is one of Fernando is here. Inrobix is one of those 6 firms, a spin-off created and promoted by the UC3M, and we hold shares with them. Fernando, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Well, I'm waiting just for the slides. I think they will appear in... Okay, so thank you very much. I'm Fernando Fernandez, the founder and Chief Scientific Officer of Inrobix, a spin-off of Universidad Carlos III of Madrid, participated also by Caixa Capital Risk. Let's see if this works. Okay, so probably all of you know somebody who has one of the problems that I have in the slide, serious birth complications, a spinal cord injury. Some people have suffered of a stroke or even dementia. So all of these are chronic anti-use, require chronic anti-use rehabilitation treatments, which typically have 2 main problems: the lack of motivation and empowering of tools for the patients, and also problems of access to the treatment. And that makes it that the rehabilitation process is very long and tedious, and sometimes even goes or takes the people to depression. So that is also a big problem with the COVID. And what we propose is an innovative rehabilitation solution through an intelligent robotic therapist that improves the treatment adherence and efficacy of people with functional and neurological diversity. So as you can see in the slide, our platform is composed of a robot that I will show you later, but we focus in different elements. We increase the adherence to the treatments through gamification. We permit to intensify the rehabilitation process. We permit to do it at home. And we permit the digitalization and the personalization of the therapies. So what we propose is, what we have generated is a cognitive architecture, what we call ALMA, which is able to control different robotic platforms or even virtual agents, and also to integrate measuring devices like a 3D sensor, etc. And with those elements, we have created 2 main problems. Inrobix Rehab Clinic, which will permit to make rehabilitation processes in a clinical, and also Inrobix Home that permits to do it at home. So we create a very strong impact both in centers and with the patients, because we are able to improve the rehabilitation processes with the patients. So thank you very much for your attention.
Well, how you doing? Fine? Let's go to the party. Well, my name is Gustavo. I am a young entrepreneur, but very experienced. I'm the managing director of SpaceSur. SpaceSur is a company that develops Earth observation solutions. We have a new paradigm and a big challenge too, just to full digital transformation of the physical world and of things. And we are going in that way. For this, the key element is the satellites that are orbiting our globe. More satellites are more data, and we are there getting all the information and all data for transform it into solutions. We get a big market defined just for EO solutions, more than 200 million euros in the next years. And for that, we developed our own platform called Geo Platform. It focused in different sectors, and in particular with big data, artificial intelligence, and computer vision, we get different sources and insights data to transform it in solution. Our model, our model, when you think which is the best way, we can introduce like a consulting or a proof of concept till develop your own constellation in this new paradigm that is the new space economy. We have already installed different solutions for government and in particular for healthcare, for example with UNICEF, a big algorithm that used to help UNICEF to distribute vaccination in low and income countries. In terms of competence, we know us, but we know them very, very well. And we know that in particular with the low area, we are going to be partnerships and we introduce or integrate different solutions in our platform. And this is the great journey. Now we are looking to get a pre-Series A and next Series A just to scale up our company. And of course, we have a big team with a, with a nice crew. We know that this is the best crew to get the results. And our mission is to integrate a positive impact on business and society based on the application of space technology for digital transformation. This is our model, and then give me the money, please. Thank you very much for your attention.
Just as a concluding remarks, we invite you all to pass by the 114 stand to meet them, either to learn more about the robotic solution of Inrobix or space or treatment of big data from Earth observation, or even the solution GeckoNavSat has developed for blind people, for following the St. James Way, El Camino de Santiago, that for sure you all more than well know. Just one more thing, on the 27th and 28th, we are celebrating the final event of one of our acceleration programs specialized in space sector. You are all invited. It's an online event where the 40 more promising startups and scale-ups in this space sector will be pitching. Thank you very much, and thank you on behalf of the UC3M team.
Uf, ahora se nos llena de gente.
Sí. Vamos a esperar un poquito. ¿Cuándo? ¿Empezamos? ¿Sí? Okay. Hello, everybody. Good morning. So first, I would like to thank you, all the people that are joining us today, either physically or virtually, for this event. I would like to also to thank South Summit for the organization of a new edition of such a great and relevant event as it is. Okay, so MasterCard is a sponsor of South Summit this year. I'm completely delighted to kick off a number of conversations and roundtables that we will host these days in the South Summit. And we couldn't start in a better way because than with a fireside chat with Baldomero Falcones, a person that I had the privilege to know since some years ago, and that I think that it is the best start that we could have for such a great event. So Baldomero, welcome, and thank you very much. I would like to very briefly read your bio for those that in the audience that
Short.
Short, very short. Very short and very fast. So Baldomero was chairman and CEO of Fomento de Construcciones y Contratas and chairman of MasterCard Internacional, where he led the merger between MasterCard and Europay. He was also general manager of Banco Hispanoamericano, Banco Central Hispano, and Banco Santander Central Hispano, and member of their management committee. Additionally, he was chairman of Banco Urquijo and Hispanoamericano, Fiat Finance, and Santander Seguros. After his banking career, he founded Magnum Industrial Partners and currently is senior advisor at Bit2Me. So, well, the topic that we will be discussing today is very important for MasterCard. During several years, MasterCard has made a significant investment to create a powerful set of capabilities, basically to respond to the challenges of the payment industries and all the innovations and evolutions of the payment industry that are happening across the world. So combined with our network and the payment rails, what we have is an offer best in class for our customers, no matter if they are businesses, cardholders, consumers, or governments. In any case, we offer best in class solutions to respond to any challenge in any sort of payment flows. And one of the payment flows that is emerging today is cryptocurrencies. So let's go and dive further on this. So Baldomero, first question for you. I want to go fast because we have only 20 minutes. So throughout your career, you have moved into different roles in finance and technical companies such as banks, sometimes payment schemes as MasterCard, and now you have jumped at cryptocurrencies in Bit2Me. So that, by the way, Bit2Me is a close partner of MasterCard also, and they will soon launch their MasterCard Bit2Me credit card. So I would like to know what is your interest in cryptocurrencies and how you have landed here.
Well, thank you. Thank you. First of all, I'd like to say that I am very happy to be here again. I think what is South Summit, what Maria Benjumea has developed is incredible, and I think it's very, very important for all of us. No? And then with MasterCard, that is a company very near, and that I really enjoy when I was worldwide chairman. No? My interest in the cryptocurrency is the future. Yeah? It's the future. I mean, it's the innovation. It's global. And it's something incredible how we are moving, and we have to be there. That's why when the people from the founders from Bit2Me offer just to work with them as advisor and taking advantage of my experience internationally and in the payment industry, I say, okay, I will be very pleased. It's an honor to help a Spanish company move into the future.
Mm-hmm. You very recently has stated that the cryptocurrencies are a bigger revolution than payment cards at that time. So in which means or in which way do you think that this is going to happen, or that cryptocurrencies are going to innovate and to shape the future?
I think we are in a movement which is incredible. For instance, I think the platform, they will substitute the intermediaries. I think the data, the big data, will substitute the collateral. Can you imagine what represent for the mass people, not for the top people, the rich, no, but for the mass people to have access to loans, to payment, to transfer in an open way, globally, very cheap. I think it's an incredible revolution, and I think it's incredible positive, no? And that's why I think cryptocurrency is absolutely the future. Mm-hmm. We will see how. We will see how we regulate that, but it's impossible to stop the future.
Mm-hmm. So related to this question about regulation, so the participation of the global institutions, the participation also of key players of the traditional banking industry are things that are crucial really to regulate this environment and to make it grow, basically. So what Bit2Me is doing in this sense to help and to facilitate the regulation of this landscape?
Well, this happens always when we are facing a change. No, always there are resistance from the what is already the market. No, but they will move. They will move. It's we see more and more. In most of the markets and for most product and service, how things are changing now. And cryptocurrency will be there. And we have to think what will be the best way to consolidate and to manage this. No? I think, for instance, from the central banks, they have to think now how to control the monetary mass. No? But it was the same when it was the payment industry developed the cards or just the financing, customer financing. No? We will be working on that.
Mm-hmm. So cryptocurrencies are on a rise now. So a survey conducted this year by a company called Skrill in several countries in US and several European countries as Germany and Italy basically shows that 4 of 10 respondents have invested during last year in cryptocurrencies, and also 9% of the respondents say that they have used cryptocurrencies as a payment method during the last month, the former month. Do you think that these figures means that basically cryptocurrencies are prepared to be introduced and integrated in the day-to-day payments? What would be your forecast for the adoption of the cryptocurrencies in the day-to-day?
I think we see more and more big institutions, financial institutions, moving. I don't like to say names, but yesterday was a new name from the US, but moving to the cryptocurrency. I think it is clear that we need to regulate this market. But I think we are working in terms of regulation, in terms of transparency, information, in terms of very important, the origin of the fund, you see, to control this. No? But this is a movement that we are going to see. The way the young people is using the information is completely different. Okay. For instance, could you imagine what will be in 10 years' time from now? What will be the situation in terms of data? Can you imagine? I mean, big data in 10 years from now? Incredible revolution will be, no? But that will be something we cannot imagine. Huh? And it's a movement, it's a change in the world and in the financial world, but also in democratization of financial operation and the financial world. No? It's a real revolution.
Mm-hmm. However, there are some skepticals. It's like
yes,
in everything. Yeah.
Sure.
So cryptocurrencies couldn't be aside of this. So there are some skepticals regarding cryptocurrencies and the way that they will be part of our day-to-day payments. So what would be your advice in terms of how to address these people, how to convince them and make them feel more confident about them, and how to trust in the cryptocurrency world? So what are the barriers that do you think that we have to pass through?
I think the current so quickly, you don't need to change everything. That's to be in the center, no? But I mean, I remember, we will remember that I created a company, it was 20 years ago, it called MobiPay. You were there.
Yes,
okay?
I was there. Yeah.
We tried to develop the payment system using the telephone, you know.
Let me say that it was MobiPay, for those that basically don't know what it is. It was the pioneer payment initiative, mobile payment initiative, worldwide. At that
Yes. I was the first chairman, you were there. And well, this was something we created from the bank, and we were 20 years before, you know, and it failed. It failed because many times project failed, no? But there are others, new.
Of tech innovations. So what trends do you think that we will see in the future, in the next year or the next 3 years?
Yeah, well,
coming from the crypto world.
Yeah, well, I see, for instance, Bit2Me is working with authorities, no, with the Comisión Nacional de Mercado de Valores, or with Bank of Spain, or with the tax authority, no. But we will see the big central banks moving. I mean, Bank of Japan, or la Reserva Federal, the Fed, or Bank of Spain, or Banco Central of Europe, moving and developing their digital currency. And well, the interesting is that we have to be part of this. We have to participate in this.
Mm-hmm. And be early, no?
Yeah.
Fantastic. So we have 5 minutes. If there is any question from the audience, we will be super interested.
For her?
No, for him. For the important people.
Yes.
One question? Yeah. Anna, do you have a microphone, or maybe you can?
Strong voice.
So make the question, and I will repeat it for everybody.
No, it's coming. Thank you very much.
So, yeah, can you hear me properly? Okay, so my question is that I'm not an skepticist of the use of cryptocurrency. However, I'm a bit concerned because if you regulate it, then it loses the spirit of a free market in some sense. And how can you regulate it if there is no, at least right now, like a central organization that controls these kind of currencies? Because apparently it's something that it fluctuates based on the market. Thank you.
Good question. I think it's a key question, I would say, no? But I should like to be positive in the way that it's impossible, as we say in Spain, poner puertas al campo. Okay? It is clear that we are going to have regulation. My hope is that that will be enough flexible to assure the future of the development in the cryptocurrency. If not, impossible to stop. Impossible to stop the future, impossible to stop the innovation, you see? It is impossible. But I agree with you, it's a very good question. Anyway, cryptocurrency and the platform, I mean, not only the blockchain, but I mean, all platform, all data, is an incredible democratization of the system. And we are going to stay there. Okay? But I agree with you, it's a very important issue.
I would like to add something also. I think that we have to look at this as if we were at the beginning of a journey. I think that in our minds, we are all the time thinking about blockchain. We are thinking about basically the people that says that has made a lot of money playing with cryptocurrencies. And I think that in all these situations and cases, we are somehow putting aside something that it is bigger than bitcoins, or there's something that it is bigger than the money that they have done speculating with that. So I think that when we talk about cryptocurrencies, we are talking about something bigger with much more potential. And in all the cases, to make something gain scale and to make something grow, it has to be regulated. And this is the position of MasterCard. We understand that it is an essential asset, that it is of interest of all our customers, the merchants that want to be paid in any sort of mean, or by any sort of mean, the businesses that has to grow, has to be abroad, has to be worldwide, and the cardholders that are really eager to be back traveling. And they want to work with cryptos, and they want to use the benefits of using cryptos. So the position of MasterCard is okay, we will be part of this, but we will be part always protecting the rights of the consumers, of the final, I was going to say cardholders, but in this case they are not cardholders anymore. And we will do all the time respecting the regulation, respecting the law, and we will do all the time as much as possible working with stable coins. So I think that cryptocurrencies is a really broad word that basically brings to our minds different things that are not always the same, or that have different angles to basically be addressed. So 2 minutes. If we have time for one super quick question.
Oh yes.
Try to talk. Hi. No funciona. It's not working. The microphone is not open?
Check.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, both of you, for sharing your vision. And thank you very much for being a good friend of B2Me. I think it's important for Spanish ecosystem that experience comes into play. The question goes about China. So recently we heard a new ban about for cryptocurrency in the Chinese economy. So of course we look at China as the second biggest economy in the world, and we're wondering what would be, in your opinion, just your opinion, I know it's a very speculative question, but what is your opinion about this ban of Chinese regulation to crypto?
Well, I think, well, thank you for your comments, Fer. We are going to see and to very quickly, soon that we think and we can tell, movement from the financial institution, from the banks, clearly, you see. And every day we see a new, that in any part of the world, someone is moving and is taking part of this, you see. We can understand that, as I mentioned, it will be so big change in terms of what is possible to do, and what we will be able to do things with the cryptocurrency, you see, that I would say every day we are going to see a movement from the financial sector and from the banks, clearly, in this respect, every day.
Okay. We are running out of time, and I think that I don't have a lot to say about that. So I think that it was a great question, but very difficult question. I don't really feel completely entitled to answer that question, but it's super good. So, well, I would like to thank you all again for joining us. Thank you, Baldomero, for joining MasterCard today at South Summit. It has been a pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much. Hope to see you soon.
Thank you for your invitation.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you very much.
Perfect timing.
Vale, muy bien.
Muy bien, muy bien.
We need to understand that our decision today, the present, means the future.
big chance for us as individuals, as consumers, is that with climate change, it takes not one of us, it takes all of us.
Consumers can contribute by increasing forest coverage by the nature of what Crisis Planet is about. Tech encourages a person to become, in a way, part of a growing movement.
Hi. Hi, everyone. Good morning. I am Susana Rubio, Digital Payments and Innovation Director for Mastercard Spain and Portugal, and I'm delighted to be here today to talk about cryptocurrencies and how to navigate in this new crypto landscape. It's great to have this conversation and to initiate this session after the great and conversation that Paloma Baldomero have just finished today and has been a very good warm-up for this session. Let me start by pointing out that we have seen a tremendous growth in this crypto industry during the recent years. New and also the existing companies are emerging every day, and more and more people are now investing in them. In fact, according to a global research by Finder, 12% of the Spanish population already owns a cryptocurrency. And this means that we are talking Spanish population already owns a cryptocurrency. And this means that we are talking about more than 5 million people. And as Paloma and Baldomero were saying just before, this is about future, this is innovation, and this is global. So we are now here today in very good hands to discuss all this sector, how this is evolving, and of course the challenges and opportunities that we see here. So let me welcome Alejandro, Son, and Ignacio that are going to talk about all these topics. Let me tell you a bit about each of them. So we have Alejandro Zala, that is country manager of Bitpanda Spain. He has a very extensive experience in the financial sector, working in different countries. We also have Sean Salux, co-founder and chief revenue officer of Banks, with more than 25 years in the mobile banking security, blockchain, and all technology-related sectors. And finally, we have Ignacio Fons, that is managing partner at Inveready, one of the leading asset managers in Spain. So thank you very much for being here. And let's start talking about your companies. So we all know that this year has been a key year for all the crypto industry. So tell us a bit about what your company does and how you have applied the nature of cryptocurrency to develop other assets. So let's start, if you want, this way.
Okay, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here with you. So Bitpanda has been talking about crypto since 2014. It's not that the last year was amazing. 2021 has been, I think, the most important, relevant year for crypto because it became mainstream. I think that now Bitcoin is not something that a few nerds talk about it. Everybody is talking about Bitcoin. And for Bitpanda, we're an investment platform. We're the leading investment platform of digital assets in Europe. And what we aim to do is to bring the future of the digital world to the investment. So we are a multi-asset platform which aims to have within our platform all the digital assets that we can offer nowadays to our customers.
Hello, so I'm Sean Salou from Banks. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer. Banks is a digital infrastructure provider. We provide the picks and shovels, if you will, of the crypto in the digital world. So we provide things like physical and virtual cards, fiat on and off ramps, things like FX and remittance. So all the infrastructure that you would need to build a fintech in the digital space, in the crypto world, powered by the blockchain, that's what we provide. So our customers include digital exchanges, DeFi companies, wallet providers, and traditional financial institutions and platforms. So if you have a community, we help you get your crypto or your digital assets. We help you launch to your community digital products.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ignacio Fons. I'm a managing partner at Inverready, one of the leading VCs here in Spain. We have several investment theses in Inverready. I lead the IT or digital economy investment fund, and we've been very active in crypto. We started by doing a lot of soul searching and training, because we acknowledge it's a very different area where knowledge is key. And after a very serious kind of training program, we started investing. We're proud investors of B2B, which you heard all about it. And also recently this year, we've invested also in a DeFi platform and a play-to-earn game platform, which is based on cryptocurrencies as the backbone and NFTs. So we're getting pieces, a wallet, a DeFi, NFT, and gaming. So I think we're completing a good kind of portfolio around what crypto can bring to this world.
No, thank you very much. Very interesting. And what's your view about the industry? Where is the industry headed, and what are the challenges and opportunities that you see?
Okay, so I think that the industry is clearly going to a tokenized world. Okay, everything will be tokenized in the next 10 to 15 years. Everything meaning real estate, art, cars, all kind of assets, because now we have the technology. Blockchain enables us to tokenize every single asset that has value, and through blockchain we will be able to make liquidity out of illiquid assets. So I expect a future in which everything, you will invest in every single asset that has any kind of value. And this will be accessible for everybody. And this is very important. I mean, what we do at Bitpanda is we make very easy to invest. You can invest from €1, 24/7. There is no rules. So I expect this to happen with all the other assets. So investment will change a lot. I think that we're reshaping the financial industry, and the best is yet to come. So we're in the beginning, I have to say.
Yeah, I agree with that. Everything is becoming digitized, and what we see, it's going to democratize banking. So instead of going to the bank and filling out paperwork to get a loan for, let's say, your property will already have been digitized, so you control that asset, and you can push a button and pledge it for a loan, and you can get a loan instantly without any paperwork. So we see that happening. We're working with real estate companies, banks, as well as gold providers that have all these assets out there that are locked up because you can't prove you own them. But with a blockchain, you can, and they'll be able to be traded on platforms like Bitpanda. And so you won't have to go through the banks. You'll be able to go around the banks, making it faster, a lot less expensive, and you're in control of your assets much quicker. So it's unlocking that. And we find that very wealthy investors do that all the time. They pledge their stock portfolios, their $1 million, multi-million-dollar stock portfolios. They go to a bank and they say, hey, can I borrow 50% against that? And the banks will say, sure. But once your assets are digitized, you don't have to ask anybody. You click a button on a website, and you'll be able to pledge and instantly get access to all your assets digitized. And we see that happening across the world.
It's amazing. Maybe I want to emphasize the fact that the future is now. It's not so much what is going to happen, of course, which is going to be great. But today is already much larger than people believe. No? For all the talk, for example, that exists around fintech, which we know is revolutionizing payments and peer-to-peer lending and insurance and everything, it's a 164 billion industry, which is large, but it has taken a few years. the value locked in the DeFi protocols today is already 200 billion almost. So it's larger in the terms of the amount of money which people are investing and lending each other through a protocol than the whole fintech industry. So it's not a matter of what is the future is going to bring us, but what the future is today, and ramping up and getting used to it.
Yeah, indeed. So this is happening right now. This is a global trend, so it's happening everywhere. So do you think that we have like something specific here in Europe? What's happening here?
So from our perspective, Europe is definitely one of the leaders in the mobile technology, and a lot of the digital assets are on mobile and accessed by mobile. So Europe is putting some very good, strong regulations, and it's one of the most regulated parts. So I think with regulation comes more mainstream. So once crypto and digital assets are more regulated, they'll be accepted by more people. And I think Europe is leading. I know of projects where they're digitizing things like oil to do things like trading.
I would argue that the more I learn about crypto, the more I realize that besides its tokens and what happens with the actual financial transactions and so on and so forth, it's also a culture. There is a culture behind crypto and tokens, and that's a US-centric culture today, very much. So I would encourage Europeans to catch up. If you think about the people who behind the most important tokens, they all funded Ethereum, and now Vitalik is obviously the leader in Ethereum, and Gavin was the founder also of Ethereum and now owns Polkadot, and Charles Hopkins that owns Cardano. The biggest movements are around what happened in the US in 2015 and 2016. So I see and then also from a cultural point of view, it comes very much from there. So we have some catch up to do, at least culturally. Then on the transaction side, if you look at again, the DeFi protocols, there is more money locked in Europe than it is in the US. So obviously we're using the technology here, but we're not at the forefront of what will come, because that's more of ideological outlook.
So from our side, I think that the biggest barrier that we have today is trust. Trust is key. We are dealing with the money and the savings of the people, and there's not enough trust today in Europe towards crypto. So I think that the next step is building up a good regulation. MiCA is coming up in 2 years, maybe 1.5 years. They will set the right framework to scale all these technology projects, and I'm sure that this will be a game changer, because some people, not early adopters, but 95% of the customers need regulation to trust, and that's what we really need to build trust in Europe and become the leading continent in building up the digital asset world.
So talking about regulation, how do you think that this is going to impact the people that have already invested, the new people that are now considering to invest in this crypto industry?
So I just said it, it's key. It's absolutely key. We've seen that recently, because crypto assets are becoming more mainstream. We can see every day public institutions talking about crypto. It's all over the place. There's conversation around crypto. So they need to really speed up, okay? Technology always goes first. But now there is a huge gap between the numbers that we're talking about, the technology, at what point are we standing, and where regulation is. So 1 year of gap, it's very difficult. So it's coming, it's good. It needs to be a speed up, I think.
Yeah. On the other hand, let's not forget that at the core of the crypto economy is decentralization. So by its nature, the regulation will be different than the regulation on other industries, because the actors of this industry are not so palpable, are not so physical as others. So we'll have to learn to live with a much lower level of regulation in this industry. It's just its nature. No, and we've seen it in China. No? There have been already 3 bans on Bitcoin in China on crypto, and each one of the bans has been less effective than the previous one, and the last one didn't even kind of almost impact the market. We have to acknowledge that there is not going to be so much as a lot of the industries or the governments would like it to be.
Yeah, so to be ready to be there without regulations, so let's see if at least it comes in the next years. So let's talk about talent, because there are, as I said before, new companies created on a daily basis. So what is the profile needed to work now in this industry? Is it different profile? So what are the abilities required to work here?
I say one of the most important ones, at least in the crypto world, would be economics. A lot of the economics of a token-based business are complex. And if you have a mind of an education on economics, it will help you a lot understand the laws of how the laws of the demand and supply affect price, and how inflation and deflation plays in. So obviously you need to understand technology, no? Because it's all programmable money, so coding is absolutely key. But the next discipline after coding, I would say, would be economics.
I would say also a passion for trying to break into, develop a new industry like the internet, 20 years ago. So besides the technology people, they're going to be, there's marketing people, there's support, there's all the infrastructure around that supports a new industry. And we find the best people are passionate about it. If you look at the 12% you mentioned that own crypto in Spain, my guess is it's under 30, and it's people that that might not want to open a bank account at the traditional high street, the normal banks, want to try something different. So we see a lot of people that are very passionate about trying to change the banking industry. I think passion is important.
So we're Bitpanda right now scaling up very aggressively. We were 100 employees 1 year ago. We're 600 by now, and we aim to be 1,000 by the end of the year. So getting the best talent is still the biggest challenge for a scaling up company. But what is amazing is I think that the best people in the world is now, the best tech people in the world now, it's focusing in crypto, tokenization. So it's we're living a very good hype, and we're attracting the best talent, and also it's a lot of money coming up to the industry. So I expect that in the following years we will see much more talent in this industry, and this will not be a stopper for scaling up companies such as Bitpanda.
Yeah, so this is the place to be.
The place to be, for sure.
So, and let's talk on the other side. What about financial education? We have a lot of people investing in these cryptocurrencies. We have hundreds of people that are willing to do it, or at least to explore it in the next years. So, do you think that the people, the industry, all the parties are well educated? Is there anything that we can do in order to improve this?
It's plenty. I mean, education is key. As I said at the beginning, at Inverready we started with kind of educating ourselves, and it's key because it's an ultra complex world. But the good news is that the corpus of knowledge around crypto is still thin. It's only 2 years of, depending how you look at it, 4 to 2 years old. If you're talking DeFi protocols and stuff like that, it's only a couple of years old. If you're talking blockchain, maybe it's 4. So it's very important to get educated, but it's a relatively easy task in the sense that very quickly you'll catch up. No, you can catch up, and I encourage people to get educated, because I've been not all my life in technology. The speed of change that I see with crypto is like anything I've seen in the past, in the sense of the rate of change. So education is going to continue being absolutely key.
Yeah, education is very important, and I think as there's a lot, like with any new industry, there's lots of people come in and then some people will fail. And as long as you're learning about things, and if it looks too good to be true, it probably is. That applies to not just crypto and digital currencies, but anything you see on the internet and on YouTube, etc. So I think as regulation comes in and it makes it more professional, just like the internet, people said a lot of bad things about that in the early days, but now it's part of everybody's life. I think the same thing will happen with digital assets, and getting an education and learning about it is definitely important.
Yeah, and if you let me add something. Be aware of scams. Education is so important. There is a lot of people in this industry which are, if you allow me, bullshitters, no? And so as you started education, it's somehow difficult sometimes to distinguish the people who know from the people who just are there to kind of fat their own token or whatever. So be aware of who knows and who doesn't.
Yeah, so we're far away from having a financial education in the society. And the best example that you can see, I see it every single day, is people only talking about the price of Bitcoin, or what happened with Ethereum, or what happened with China. And that's what people think about when they talk about crypto. And there is so much more behind the price. I mean, price is the less relevant topic. If we talk about DeFi, we talk about crypto. So once people start reading and understanding what's behind those amazing, huge projects which aim to really shape the future of the industry, they will understand the value that is behind them. And people right now don't really have the capacity to understand what's coming up. Because if they would be understanding the reality, they wouldn't be worried about the price of today or the price of tomorrow. So we need much more financial education.
Yeah, and do you have an idea, so how can we improve this education of the people? So you are here, you are representative of the people that have a lot of knowledge about this industry. How can we help? Because it's not only about the final customers, it's also about almost every company right now that is exploring how to work with cryptocurrencies.
Sure. So for Bitpanda, we have an academy, which is our educational blog, in which we upload a lot of content for all the audiences, like more early adopters, very sophisticated people. So we need to have customers which know where they put in their money, because if they know where they put in their money, they will be much more engaged with us and they will be with us for the long run. So we're doing a huge exercise and effort of building content and creating content on a daily basis, so our customers have at least the option to read and to get that information from our side. Not giving any kind of financial advice, which is really important, just providing information about what's happening in this industry.
I encourage also people to log in the Bit2Me Academy. It has a whole lot of videos, tutorials, new clips, so it's a very important it's a very easy way to start. Go through one of these academies like yours as well.
Okay, and Banks is a B2B, so we don't deal directly with the customers as much as most of the B2C players, but we do educate the corporates who come to us and want various things like gateways and cards. We do educate them, because sometimes they think it's very easy, that it's going to happen very fast. So we do our education. We educate the corporate and the crypto users, the exchanges that want products, how to be a responsible financial player, because there's a lot of regulations that we have to look at.
Okay, thank you. We have 5 minutes, so let's see if anyone from the audience has any question for you. Here you have one question.
Could you give us, the name of the two companies, because I didn't know the name of your company and the name of your company. I know you're Bitpanda, great.
Inverready.
Yes, Banks and Inverready.
Inverready.
It's a Spanish company.
It's a VC in Spain.
Oh, great. So you created it all. You created the company.
We created the company, yeah, 10 years ago.
Oh, great. Yeah, and the other one?
So Banks, yeah, we were founded in 2017, 2018 in the UK.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Hi, thank you for all your opinions. My question is about the coexistence between
cryptocurrency, foreign payment services providers. So how do you see in the future the coexistence in e-commerces or marketplaces between cryptocurrencies and the current payment services providers?
What other currencies? I think the question was, what do you see the future of payment systems in crypto?
Yeah, the coexistence.
Yeah,
They're
so-
going to be together or separate?
I think we think they're going to kind of merge, and so blockchain will allow payment systems like remittance and FX to be done for zero cost, and we're actually starting to work with clients all over the world to offer services so you can move money around globally for nothing. As long as you're spending it on one of our physical or virtual cards, that we make enough from that we can offer FX and movement for free. And I think that we see payment services that happening, just like mobile telcos used to make all their money on voice and data, and now people use WhatsApp, people use Skype, people use other services, so mobile revenues are dropping. I think the same thing is going to happen in the payment services. All the banks, it might cost $20 or $30 to move money, that's going to become free. And we're starting to see the price drop because of blockchain and digital currencies.
I believe also one of the greatest opportunities in terms of investment, if you're an entrepreneur who wants to build a business in the crypto world, I would say is to create a business that does exactly what you are talking about, merge both worlds. The crypto world is very complex. No, people want to deal with their money the way they've always done. So the businesses that are going to create a bridge between both will be very successful. Some people call them mullets. Will be fintech on the front and crypto on the back. Those are great opportunities, and there are not enough of them, and there are none in Spain that I have learned about. So if you find one, come see me.
Okay, we have 1 minute. Last question then.
Thank you very much for all the very interesting information. My question would be, in how many years do you think it's going to be mainstream to go to any shop and be able to pay with crypto instead of with cash or...
You can do that now. So we probably have 20 programs, some running on MasterCard, where you have a physical card, you connect it to your digital wallet, your pounds, euros, Bitcoin, or anything, and when you spend it at a point of sale, they don't know it's crypto, only you know it's crypto because you've loaded it that way. So it's happening now, it's starting to become more widespread, and we see it being introduced into the point of sale. So it's happening now.
I think that the right question for this is, when are we going to pay taxes with Bitcoin, right? And to be honest, I think that it will take some time.
Yeah, maybe never, no?
Maybe never, yeah.
Taxes are tough. One has to think also about the systems which are broken. Going today to a store and pay for your goods, it's not broken. It's relatively easy, no? MasterCard and Visa, they have solved that problem. There are other problems that crypto will solve which are not solved today, no? Like getting a fair reward for your deposits, not getting a fair interest. No, that might be a problem which is broken and crypto can solve. Or if you are a creator of music and getting the right reward, one of your records is played, and getting that kind of so that the creators and artists in general can get a fair amount of money for their work. That's a broken problem, and that's something that maybe crypto can think. So let's think about those processes that are broken.
Yeah. So I'm afraid we are running out of time, so I would like to thank the three of you for such an amazing and interesting conversation about cryptocurrencies. I would like to thank you all, the audience here today, and of course the ones connected at home or from DIO. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoy the rest of the session.
Thank you very much.
Did.
need to understand that our decision today, the present, means the future.
So the big challenge for us as individuals, as consumers, is that with climate change, it takes not one of us, it takes all of us.
Consumers can contribute by increasing forest coverage by the nature of what Crisis Planet is about. That encourages a person to become, in a way, part of a growing movement.
Hello, can you hear me? It's such a wonderful day. It's so sunny, and so it's great to be outside. My name is Christina Kloberdance, and I'm Chief Sustainability Officer at MasterCard. And so it's a privilege to be here with you all today. I'm going to have the opportunity to speak with you for just a little bit, and then I'm going to share the stage with a guest, and we'll get into the conversation. And then we'll also open up to questions for you all, because we'd love to hear some of the questions that you have on your mind. Just the topic of sustainability and ESG, environment, social, and governance, right now seems to be a very, very hot topic. And we're seeing it all around the globe. And so if you think about, actually, the last time I was in Madrid was December of 2019, and it was for the COP conference. And at that point, there was a lot starting to happen in the space of climate and environment. And just a few months later was Davos, and we thought at the time, the full year of 2020, all you were going to hear was climate and environment. And then what happened? COVID, and there was a global pandemic and an economic crisis, and we had racial injustice in some areas around the world. And so all of a sudden, when we think about this idea of sustainability or environment and social, this rise of social really started to take place. And now we are again together. And so really looking forward to talking to you about this. So how do we come out of a global pandemic and what the world has gone through? If you think about it, there is this tension between planet and people, or environment and humanity, just as we all are so eager to get back to life and living, and finally getting on an airplane again and finally doing things. We also don't want to forget everything that we just saw start to happen when the world kind of stopped, and with climate and the environment. So there's that tension that we have there. As we go forward, and we'll talk a little bit about this idea of consumer consumption, we want to start keeping in mind what that impact has on the planet. There's also this distinction between one and many, or this idea of inclusion. And for MasterCard, inclusive growth and financial inclusion has been something that we've been long focused on, and the impact, and I'll talk about that in a minute. And then the third thing in this, how do we come out of the global pandemic, is this idea, or the balance of short-term and long-term. How do we manage our business, but how do we also address the challenges that society faces? And so at MasterCard, we're a technology company, we're a payments company, And so several years ago, we set out with the ambition to move 500 million people into the formal economy. And if you think about it, people that don't have a bank account, that are unbanked or underbanked. And we hit that last year and doubled down and committed to 500 more, so 1 billion people into the formal economy. So if you think about that being a focus and that being so strategically aligned to our business, well, that's the same population that is most vulnerable to the impacts of climate change. And so it made sense, as there was more and more urgency with climate, that we were able to take those learnings, take that, and focus on how could we have an impact on the environment. And so you might think, MasterCard, our own environmental footprint is not that significant. We don't make anything. We're not an energy company. So we took a step back and we thought, how are we going to have an impact? First and foremost, it was critically important that we managed our own environmental footprint. And we had set, if this is your day job and you know anything about this, the science-based targets on reducing our greenhouse gas emissions. We committed to be 100% renewable energy. And we could do all those things with our own footprint and our supply chain. But we also knew we were not going to make that significant of a dent in the planet because our own footprint is relatively small. But MasterCard actually has this unique positioning with our network. And so if you think about it, we actually have a reach to nearly 3 billion cardholders. And we don't actually issue the cards. 20,000 banks and issuers actually issue those cards. And those 3 billion cardholders use those cards at 70 million merchants and retailers. So if you start to think about it in that sense, we actually have this unique reach, and we have an opportunity, and as I see it, an obligation to play a role in shifting consumer consumption, shifting consumer choice or behavior. Because you hear about countries making commitments You hear about companies making commitments, whether it's net zero or carbon neutrality or those things. But each one of us as individuals, hopefully we can't get there unless we play a role as well. So earlier this year, MasterCard committed to net zero by 2050 for our own operations in our supply chain. And there were a couple of things that we also did at that same time to ensure that as a business, we were actually walking the talk. And internally, we tied our executive compensation, our leadership compensation to our sustainability goals. And we also then linked our financing, and we issued our first sustainability bond, which tied to social and environmental initiatives. But I want to really focus on that idea of the consumer. So each one of you, what role can we play in our daily lives? So last year, we announced at MasterCard what we call the Priceless Planet Coalition. And the Priceless Planet Coalition has committed to plant 100 million trees around the globe. It's one of the most efficient ways we can address climate. But the interesting thing is, because this is bigger than any one of us, there are not enough philanthropic dollars out there to address climate change. There are not enough government funding to do it. And so right now with the Priceless Planet Coalition, we have 74 private sector companies that are part of it with us, that have all committed together. Because you'll hear more today about this idea of collective action, that it takes all of us. And so I'm actually thrilled to give a bit of a preview and announce that 74th partner is here with us today. And so we'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. But this idea of the Priceless Planet Coalition, and you see trees on the monitor and you see them around here, and this idea of 100 million trees. So when MasterCard decided to go about that, first we knew that it's not our day job. It is not, we are not the experts in doing that. So it was critically important that we found the right partners. And we're partnering with two organizations, Conservation International, which you may have heard of, and WRI. And those two organizations have helped us create this new model of global private sector reforestation at scale. And so when you think about planting trees, I'd love for you all to walk away with the idea that it's not actually putting a seed in the ground. That is a part of it, and that's important. But it's actually the idea of regrowing forests, regrowing trees. And so it's important that nature matters, absolutely, but science matters, and how we go about it is critically important. But you don't stop at the planting. It's actually the growing, and it's the maintenance, and it's the monitoring, and it's driving that. So it's important that we do it in the areas that science matters most, that is actually going to have the greatest impact on climate change. And we started in 3 areas. And so that is in the Amazon in Brazil, it's also in Kenya, and also in Australia. And that will expand as we have more and more partners that are with us. The other thing that I will say is that it's not a matter of these 70+ companies funding. What we're after is this shifting of behavior. And so remember when I talked about that. So each one of these 70 partners are doing campaigns that will engage you, and it may be incentivizing that if you use your MasterCard on the public transportation, that'll turn into trees being planted. It might be if you use your MasterCard and go paperless, trees will be planted, or at a certain retailer. So all of a sudden, we're beginning to become a bit aware. So now I'll take you on another journey. So remember before there was something called a wearable that said how many steps you were taking in a day. Or before you went into maybe a fast food restaurant and it said how many calories were, in something. We didn't really know. And so this is this journey that we're all on. And so MasterCard has also partnered with a fintech out of the Nordics called Doconomy. And so what we have started to do, and we brought it onto our network. So remember when I talked about that idea of scale and out through 20,000 banks, the idea that you use your MasterCard and you can see on your app, your bank's app, what the cost was of that purchase. Well, what about if you could see the carbon cost of that purchase? All of a sudden, you now become a bit aware. That idea of it being countries and companies, now down to an individual, and you can start to learn, become aware of your own footprint, but then also be equipped and able to take action. So what if you could start to manage your own footprint, and you could compensate and maybe plant trees that are going to, as you're shifting your behavior. And so that lends me into the idea of innovation and technology. And we know that the technology that is needed to fight climate change doesn't exist today. Some does, yes, and we need to continue to advance that and scale that, but there's a lot that doesn't. And so at MasterCard, just the week before last, I believe, we announced our first Sustainability Innovation Lab in the Nordics. And so to me, that's super exciting because we're setting out to do 3 things. Invest in R&D as it relates to climate change, co-create solutions for climate action with fintechs, with entrepreneurs, with other private sector companies, and then help with the implementation. So I've just gone through, and I'm looking at the time, and I would love now to bring up a colleague. And this is Daniel, because you certainly don't want to hear any more than me. What I wanted to do is give you a preview. And I'm pleased to be joined now by Daniel. Say it so I don't miss it. See, you did it much better than my accent. From Banco Sabadell. And join me. We'll get into a dialogue here. So Daniel is the Director of Strategy and Sustainability at Banco Sabadell. And when I mentioned that we had a new partner as part of our Priceless Planet Coalition, I'm thrilled to be sharing the stage with him today. And so, Daniel, there's so much we could talk about because the way that we're all implementing our sustainability, it's the same challenges that we're being addressed with. We all come at it from our greatest areas of strength, those areas that are most strategic and most authentic to our business. So could you share with the group your view on the impact of sustainability in our society?
Of course. Well, first of all, thank you very much, Christina, for this invitation.
Yep.
It's really good to be here present and see a little bit this energy that we are seeing in this event. I don't know if you know, but we are founding partners as well in the South Summit. And so there's a lot of common values that we share with this event. Going back to your question, it's true, and you said it before, it's a leading topic nowadays. It's a very hot topic, as you said before. And I think it's basically because it gives us the sense of the urgency that we are witnessing nowadays in terms of everything that has to do with climate, but also the social and other impacts around sustainability. Let me give you a little bit of some examples of things that we have witnessed not a long time ago that are, I think, in a way, very crucial in a way to understand how important sustainability is. So I would say, first of all, last week, the United Nations Secretary General spoke about the need for a wake-up call in society, and he spoke of the need of urgency around action in terms of not only the climate thing, but also in terms of social activities. He gave us certain words which I think are really interesting. The words would be, for example, climate alarm ring bells. He spoke of bridging gender divide. He spoke about equality. Basically, he gave us a view how important actually we need to take action at the current time. A second example, last month. Last month, we saw the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, and we saw a lot of signals that show what the challenge is for the next decades. And by this, I mean that we do need to take action, and the unprecedented impact that humanity is having on terms of climate is actually really profound. This year, another example, this year, the World Economic Forum introduced another topic, which is climate failure to action. And here they said, basically, this is the highest impact risk that we are witnessing, and probably the second highest long-term risk that we are facing. So all these three examples show us quite a lot of the importance that sustainability has. And I think financial institutions and Sabadell obviously do play a role in helping this transition, basically because we will help with our proximity to advise the customers in what they have to do.
So, yeah, you mentioned so many things there that are just critically important. Yes, the urgency. And you mentioned the IPCC report, and if any of you are familiar with that recently came out, it was quite dire. And it also indicated that we all play a role in the effects of climate change and that acceleration. But you talked for a second also about could you go into a little bit more about the financial services industry and what you think the role of financial services is when we look forward?
Well, I think we have a key role in the transition and deployment. For one hand, we too have to adapt ourselves in terms of being more sustainable. We have to adapt our business models. We have to adapt our way our governance structure is built. But also, there's another view, which is how can we actually have an impact, and how can we actually advise our customers and how to do this journey. So I would say there are three main areas where we do have an impact in terms of the financial sector. The first one is our activity itself, and by this I mean the financing, where we bring different products, different solutions, but also the investing side and the risk management side. Second, our social corporate governance side, and this means that we have to also look back at ourselves and see what our own activities look like and how we can actually do this challenge. And third, our projection to society. And by this I mean what we as institutions give in terms of a view of how sustainability should work in our companies. And I guess we all in the financial sector are dealing with this type of issues, and at Sabadell we are taking this type of responsibilities really serious, and we are acting in our own way.
Yeah, so it's interesting. There's so many similarities in the way we are both addressing things, and you talked about the social aspect. I think going forward, both the environment and the social issues that we face are so vitally important. I think going forward, what we're going to start to see more and more of is this convergence of the environment and the social. And that is something that I think that we're all going to start, looking at how we can have an impact, so that they're not separate, because they do affect each other. So could you dive a little bit more? We talked about kind of sustainability in society at large. You then talked about the financial services sector. But can you talk a little bit more about initiatives that Banco Sabadell is doing? So we'll take it down to the company itself.
So I think that the first thing to mention is we placed sustainability at the core of our strategy. Yep. We have a sustainable finance plan within the entity that has basically four main objectives. The first objective is to support our customers, obviously. We need to be there in their transition. We need to help them to bring them the type of products that they will need. And therefore, we are already developing this type of new advocacy products for them. Also, in terms of services, here we are doing a lot in terms of understanding what the SMEs, for example, which our focus area, will need for this transition, and bring them additional knowledge in order to help them out in this journey. In terms of another input that we have is to enable our investors to contribute to sustainability. And by this, I mean that we are introducing specific Sustainable Development Goal frameworks in terms of the bonds issue. Also, we are introducing new products in terms of investment side. Another topic, the third one, is our own adaptation. So we are bringing new government bodies into the entity and also taking a deep dive in how we should act in the future. And finally, in terms of the projection to society, and this means having this type of interactions like with yourselves, and convening and interacting in broader relationships and commitments. That Priceless Planet Coalition is one of them, of course.
Well, we're so thrilled to have you as part of the Priceless Planet Coalition. And Banco Sabadell has committed to 100,000 trees, which will be a great partnership as we go forward. But you mentioned a couple of other really important things. This idea of collective action, of offering solutions to your customers, and then also SMEs in this. Those are two really important things that I think that as companies, I'm looking forward to how can we collaborate and work together on some of those things. When we even think about our supply chain, we share oftentimes many of the same suppliers, and how can we begin to advance that as well. So what I'd love to do is turn to the group here and see if there are any questions from the audience, which we would be happy to answer and address. Perfect. What would you love?
Thank you. Maybe the question was around, it's really good to get awareness, and I think that's a fantastic job. It's the first step, let's put it this way. But we would like to understand, how are you seeing that the economy is being integrated and used in order to fuel the next step? So what is the collaboration going from the economy to action?
So were you asking? Yeah, Daniel, I'd love for. Yeah, did you hear the question?
Could you repeat the question, please? Sorry.
Yeah, it was hard for us to hear a little bit up here.
Yeah.
I'll try it again.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So the question is. The question is, okay, maybe better.
Thank you.
Yeah.
How do you integrate doconomy, which is about awareness and understanding the footprint, into the next step, which is the action you need to take to then make a difference?
Yeah.
Because doconomy might make me feel bad. I'm using a lot of carbon.
Yes. Okay. So I'll take that. Yeah. So I'll jump in on that. So the doconomy solution that we did talk about in this idea of building awareness, it is absolutely not about making you feel bad. And the last thing that is going to drive action is for anybody to feel shamed or blamed. And so what it's really trying to do is more build awareness. And what we're doing is trying to figure out how to incentivize. Because if you can start to feel good about that, then your behavior may potentially change. So it's something that we actually are really working on consumer insights as we do that, because as you are engaging consumers, we want to learn so that we can shift behavior and economy. So it was a fantastic and a great question. And I would love, is there another question? If there's not in the audience, then I'm going to take the opportunity and ask Daniel another question.
Great.
So as we go forward, are you optimistic or more pessimistic about what we're facing? Or how are you feeling about going forward with the challenges that we have ahead?
Well, I think it's a good question, because what we are seeing now, it's a lot of challenges, but also opportunities. You know? We are seeing challenges because we don't see that it's a really clear road ahead. We won't be able to do this transition in a short period of time.
Yeah.
It's going to take a long time. It's going to take awareness. And there's a value that I like a lot about where I work in. It's non-conformism, which has to do a lot with trying to develop always and continuous improvement and trying always to find new solutions. And I think it resonates a lot here in terms of what we see in this event. And also, I think it has to do a lot with the type of journey that we have to do in the future. So I welcome you very much for the great initiative that you have in terms of the Priceless Planet Coalition. I think we live in a priceless planet, and obviously there's no plan B, so we have to be there for the priceless planet.
Absolutely. We certainly believe that this one planet that we have is priceless, and that it's going to take all of us. So I will leave you in my 4 seconds with a parting thought. The next time you actually purchase something, the next time you use your card, whether it's a debit or a credit or a prepaid card, just think to yourself, I wonder what the impact of that may be. And you might think about it the next time. And over time, if we all start to do, we all might start to shift our behavior a bit. So with that, have a wonderful rest of your summit. And thank you very much, Daniel.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Gli sustigosi. C'è sempre. Sempre la paura di cadere. Can I start? Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I want to thank you, all of you, for being there, either in person, and let me say that I'm really happy to see finally, after such a long time, 3D human being, either in online. And I will also thank you, the South Summit, for organizing such an important event. At MasterCard, we are proud to support the South Summit, and personally, I'm very pleased to be the moderator during this edition at the round table under the title Buy Now, Pay Later and the Future of Credit, with such important panelists. First of all, let me introduce my guest today and my panelists. Lady first, Raquel Garces, CEO of Aplazame, Alessandro Cesquel, CEO of Plazo, and Jacob Navi, CEO and co-founder of GFT. My name is Barbara Sessa, and I'm responsible for the consumer, product, and innovation in Europe for MasterCard. Today, we see, and we can't escape, and we see everywhere, buy now, pay later. That is a sort of new black dress. Everyone is talking about buy now, pay later, and today with my guest, we will talk about this topic and see how this trend is growing fast around the globe. The last market share is projected to expand at 28% of CAGR in the next 5 years. As buy now, pay later gain momentum, traditional players and innovative lenders, alternative lenders, are enter into this space with some offer that can fulfill consumer needs, such as the need of flexibility and control in payment. At MasterCard, we play a role in this space. Most of you, I think, we have seen the announcement that we have done 1 week ago. We launched a new way of concepts, so we reinvent the buy now, pay later to give as final goal to our consumer the best possible choice at the moment of checkout, in store and online. But let me start asking some questions because we are all interested to have your point of view. And in particular, let me start with the first question that I have. What is, guys, your company market position when we talk about buy now, pay later? And what are for you the next step? Let's respect one rule, always ladies first.
Okay, thank you for that. That is not very fair for the male, but thank you. Aplazame is a retail tech platform that provides financing at the point of sale and payments at the point of sale. What might be different of Aplazame in comparison with other players is that we do cover all a very broad range of ticket sizes. We cover from 50 euros to 2,500, 3,000 tickets, and also tenors from very short-term payment to longer-term. We provide instantaneous decisioning, 160 seconds or even 60 seconds for recurrent clients in our platform. And over the last year, we have transacted around 200 million euros of gross merchandise value in our platform. So our ambition is to continue our positioning in strengthening our position in Spain, growing in South Europe, and also extending our offering, by the way, through a prepaid MasterCard card that we have enabled for our clients beyond our ecosystem and to the open market. So that would be for us the next steps.
Thanks.
So it's nice to meet you all. I always like to start with what GFT doesn't do. We don't lend.
we facilitate. So we work usually with large banks and large merchants and give them the tools, the technology, the platform to offer various credit products at the point of sale, both in-store and online. We currently operate in the US, in France, in Belgium, in Spain, in Portugal, now Italy and the UK. We work very closely with MasterCard since our goal is to allow for these products to scale and minimize the level of integration and effort and cost that it normally takes to set these things up at point of sale, in-store and online.
So with Plazo, we are basically in between, okay, we're kind of hybrid model. So our perspective, basically we want to offer the Plazo to our customer as a product, as a tool to pursue the financial wellness goal. Just to summarize in a nutshell, we have two main buckets, okay, we can say how we do that. On one side, we want to offer, let's say, the credit financing in a smarter way, and I mean that we want to give the power to customer to understand when and if they really need the credit. So for this reason, we have like a debit card plus an overdraft, and then people can pop up in or out if they want to split the payment. And then also for the future, we want to extend that to different product lines. So for example, on the credit side, we want to, for example, add salary advance options, okay, in order to stabilize and reduce the need for credit. On the other side, we want basically to help people to make savings. So we're going to enter in the micro saving space, and also since we're talking about this period with inflation, so we want also to give the possibility to protect the purchasing power by making some micro investment. And as you mentioned, our long-term future is basically expand outside Spain, most probably South Europe. Maybe we can do something together since we have some aligning targets together.
Thank you. So we thought that we see Buy Now Pay Later growing fast in the last months. What has started as a way for consumer to purchase in installment has become a massive industry. My question will be how to make this model a profitable model in the long term.
Shall I go? Okay.
What do you want?
Let's go.
Well, I'll talk about Aplázame because it's what I know. We are profitable. We have positive unit economics on every ticket. So for us, profitability is driven by scale, and this is where our strategy is to grow more with large partners, to grow internationally. But unit economics in our case are already profitable, which is very important because otherwise, the more you grow, the bigger is the whole. So it is not impossible with the economics of the industry to make the model work.
Who want to go?
Okay, so to me, there are two main challenges as the market evolves. So more and more players are coming to the market, not just Buy Now Pay Later standalone players, but also, you mentioned Stripe and other big tech that enter this market. So the market will grow, there will be more competition, the margin will be smaller. So Buy Now Pay Later solution, they need to figure out how to monetize after the first purchase. Okay, so they need to figure out how to cross-sell, to figure out how to add additional product. We are coming from the credit market sector, so we know that credit is one of the main drivers for profitability in this case, but it also is not easy to do it. So on one side, you need to pursue the growth. On the other side, you need control the credit side. So credit is a big important part. And also for that, figure out how to sell the product after the first purchase.
Obviously, unit economics are incredibly important. For our partners and clients, they often have quite a large database or existing client base so that they're able to take that data into account when they perform their risk analysis. And I think that one of the things that the world is waiting to see as now this segment matures and the data flows in, what is really the bottom line in terms of profitability, and as that grows and there are additional providers and customers are perhaps extended over various transactions, various providers, how is that going to ultimately play out in terms of the bottom line? But one other thing that, at least for our partners, is extremely important is not only the direct unit economics of buy now, pay later. It's the establishment of the relationship and the retaining of the customer at the point of sale. So for banks that we work with and large merchants, they don't want another intermediary at the point of sale. They want to provide the customer with whatever he or she needs at that point of sale and maintain that relationship going forward. So one of the things they have to weigh up when offering buy now, pay later, do they partner with an external standalone, or do they try to offer that themselves in order to retain their customer relationship and database?
This is one question that maybe is linked to the previous one. Who say buy now, pay later is booming, say credit card is a debt. So how do you see the future of credit? Who wants to start? Who wants to go?
Okay. I have to credit that comes to my mind is two things. First of all, is embedded. So I see it is more embedded into the daily lives of people, and much more closer to the purchasing decision. So people, when they, in our platform, when they decide to buy with one of our partners, with one of our merchants, a computer, they don't want to buy a credit, they want to buy a computer. So it is very important that it is very well interlinked into the purchasing decision. That is one thing. Another thing, it is important, and we are seeing this with buy now, pay later, clarity, transparency, a sense of control. This is also highly valued by customers, and in that sense, I think it will change also the mix that we will see in payments in the years to come. And we have seen that in Australia, how some solutions have overtaken credit. So two things, embedded and transparency and control for customers.
Thank you.
So to me, it will be a hybrid future. So it won't be, of course, not everything buy now, pay later, not everything credit card. So the trick here is to find a way to move seamless from one place to another one. So that was the most mentioned before, that how can we follow the customer from the first purchase, how we can work with the merchant in case of buy now, pay later to nurture this relationship, and also how we can follow the customer outside, I mean in the offline. So if the company that will be able to make the customer stick with one specific product or brand, they will win. Because at the time that the competition will be high, there will be a lot of commoditization of the product. So it's really important to stand out and to follow the customer across all the journey they have. It's not easy. There's a lot of players. We hope to be one of them, okay? But it's a challenge because it's interesting.
I tend very much to agree with my esteemed colleagues here. I think that buy now, pay later is obviously much closer to a payment method as opposed to a credit card that is truly credit. Now, I think that the success of the combination of the two, and in my mind, they both need to coexist, is really in terms of the way that the consumer ultimately treats those two products. Meaning, if a consumer decides to start treating buy now, pay later as a credit product and tries to max out their credit by, like we said before, distributing themselves over many providers, then we may run into a conflict with their credit, which is managed on a completely different basis, different regulation, which we may touch on, I don't know. So I think there's a lot of education that has to go into this, and certain guards to ensure that consumers are using buy now, pay later responsibly, and then it'll be really complementary to the credit that they may or may not hold.
And those points are so important. The fact to make consumer aware about the new way of use this functionality, let me say. But do you see a risk on over that? So until now there are not so many regulators looking at it, but they will arrive. I don't know if you agree with me, but at a certain moment will be the attention of the regulator on this space. Do you see the risk for our consumer to go on over that?
Okay. There is, I think, a very legitimate concern related to the possibility of consumers going in over-indebtedness because of taking, as you were pointing out, later payments from different platforms. I think the line between payments and financing is a bit blurred, but if you look at it from the
credit card, which is positive because there's a large part of the population that wants to use a credit card, it's fine. But the challenge here is the regulation, how to understand and probably share the information of the customers using buy now pay later in order to preserve the financial stability. Because otherwise, it's going to grow a lot and then someone will know. So it's better to act before it's too late. I think it's just a matter of talking, sharing ideas, and sharing the data, like the credit business.
Yeah. Agree. I may just add something to frame the whole discussion to make it very, very simple. If you think about a regulator that has to monitor the debt-income ratio of a population, not even of the individuals. With most traditional credit products, that information is transparent. That information floats up to the regulator, and the regulator can somehow control it. If you think of buy now, pay later, and by the way, it's a gross generalization because different buy now, pay laters work differently, and some do report to the credit. But let's for a moment speak about the non-regulated buy now, pay later. There is debt being aggregated that doesn't even appear on the dashboard of any regulator. So they may be regulating the wrong set of information today. So to me, it's very, very clear that this is inevitable and this will come, and it's to the benefit, as you mentioned, Raquel, it's to protect the population as a whole and the consumers in order to make sure that the lending continues to be responsible. And many times we try to educate our clients or prospects, especially those that are currently regulated, that they are maybe in a very strong position to offer these type of products because the regulation is coming. And if they are well positioned to offer a buy now, pay later under a regulated umbrella, there is a lot of market share that they can gain.
Thank you. Now I think that we can, I don't know if there are questions from the audience that you have the opportunity to ask directly to our panelists. Do we have a curiosity question? There is a question over there. Just 1 second.
Do you think there is a future for the service BNPL to be offered on a B2B basis now that more often companies are buying out of virtual points of sale?
Well, I guess if you think of the principles of buy now, pay later, why not? I mean, buy now, pay later provides transparency, it provides the instantaneous decision making, provides good user experience. So if you take that to the SMEs, why not? And I think there are some initiatives in the market already, so yes. Okay, thanks. And maybe something else. Now it's like concerned with the whole topic of the South Summit. Do you guys at the BNPL sector do anything to improve the environmental situation? What I'm trying to say is that BNPL basically offers the consumer the option to buy something that they might not necessarily afford at the moment or need. So I'm not trying to put you in the spot, but in a way, are you not promoting overconsumption and making people buy stuff they don't necessarily need?
I fully agree on that. It's basically what I just said before. So in the future, when the business is basically manipulated, it's spiking up. So we need to find a way to share the data, like in some countries they're sharing positive bureau of credit. We should figure out to share the positive bureau of purchases, just idea out of thin air, okay? But the way we can do it is it's collaborating, sharing those data, maybe with aggregators, maybe with other entities, I don't know. But that's the point. And then also, in our case, the difference is to make the additional step, not just doing fraud scoring, but doing proper scoring. That basically make you understand in full the real creditworthiness of that customer. And there you can really decide if hey, man, you spend it too much or too low. That's super important. I fully agree with what you say. That's not the way.
Maybe just to add to Alex's point, you make an excellent point, but let me try to give you a different example. Take a university graduate who has just landed a wonderful job where the pay is decent, and this graduate now has to undergo some sort of medical procedure, private medical procedure. The cash flow would work. They need to be given the time to pay it in 2 or 3 installments in correlation with their income. In that regard, a responsible buy now, pay later is doing a tremendous service in assisting, sometimes young, sometimes old, depending on the demographic, to increase their quality of life. So as long as it's handled responsibly, I think it can be a wonderful service for society.
Thank you very much.
Other question from the audience? No? So I think that's all. Let me thank once again my panelists. Thank you, and thank you all of you for your attention. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
No? Pero espero o... No? Okay. Okay, perfect. Can you hear me? Okay, thank you. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for being here. I know that this is the last keynote before the lunch, so thank you so much for those that you want to be here. Of course, thank you very much to South Summit for giving us the opportunity to share with you the Mastercard vision of authentication. And thank you very much for all the people that are connected online. So when I was invited here to talk about the future of authentication, I was thinking about in which way we know each other. Because at the end, when we are in a shop, there is some type of recognition at the end. So the first word that comes to my mind is trust. At the end, when you authenticate a customer or when you want to identify yourself, you need trust. You need to trust each other. You need to trust in the web page that you are surfing, and of course the retail needs to trust you. So let me put you an example starting for the most common application, that is trust in the physical world. As I said, trust in the physical world is a question of recognition and knowledge. And let me give you an example that probably all of you knows very well. Because if you are Spanish, you know that in Spain, our surnames comes from a question of recognition. I mean, González is the son of Gonzalo. Fernández is the son of Fernando. Because some centuries ago, the people lived in a very small village, and everyone knows each other, but if maybe they didn't know you, they know what is your father. This is the son of Gonzalo. This is González. No? So trust in that moment goes because they recognize you with some type of information. Right now, of course, that's absolutely impossible. We don't know no one around us, even our neighbors. So, but in our everyday interaction, when you go, for example, to the cafeteria, my face, so I need something to identify myself in the app. At the end, I can use biometric authentication, of course. And at the end, I need also to put my credentials, my payment credentials in the app, in a current file, in order to pay securely. So at the end, trust in the physical world and trust in the digital world is exactly the same. It's still a question of recognition and knowledge. But let me summarize very quickly what is the evolution of the authentication that we are seeing in the last few decades. If you think about the early 90s,